Professor. My name is Mayra Chavarria, and this is week 7's assignment for Model the Critical Thinking. So the content area which I'm going to be focusing on for this particular assignment is mathematics, and the grade level that I chose to focus on was 2nd grade. And the problem that I'm going to be focusing on seems quite simple, as if there's a fast way to come up with the answer, but I know that there are plenty of diverse learners in each and every single one of the classrooms, so I would just love to see what kind of conversations go about within. So the problem that I chose to focus on is Miss Carson saw bicycles and tricycles in her yard. She saw 19 wheels. How many of each bicycles and tricycles could Miss Carson have seen? And then I gave them 2, right? So they had to identify how many bicycles and how many tricycles by the end of the problem. Now, in order to support my diverse learners that I've had in my classroom, I would like to reiterate the problem in Spanish, just because I know that I do have a lot of students whose primary language is Spanish, and I would like them to feel more comfortable. So in this instance, I would say, la señorita Carson notó que había bicicletas y triciclos en su yarda. Ella vio 19 llantas. ¿Cuántas bicicletas y cuántos triciclos pudo haber visto la señorita Carson en su yarda? Y explicar que este lado es para bicicletas y este lado es para triciclos. Right? So I would just reiterate exactly what the problem says to begin with. Now, in another way to support my students, I would also love for them to have a visual. So I know, as simple as it may sound, I would just like to refresh their mind of what a bicycle and tricycle looks like. So I would draw out what a bicycle is. And not only would I write it in English, but I would also write it in Spanish, just so my diverse learners are also given the same opportunity. So I would just label it bicycles or bicicletas. And this side would be triciclos or tricycles. And then I forgot to mention that I would also put that it has only 2 wheels. Dos llantas. And then a tricycle, on the other hand, has 3 wheels, 3 llantas. So triciclo. And then tricycle. 3 wheels, 3 llantas. And just so they would know what to look for and what to think about when working out their problems. So I would provide them with a little visual and the name, right? So then you did mention that you wanted us to at least 3 branching options, right, in your thought process. Therefore, my three branching options are drawing arrays. I know my students were really into arrays this past year, which is great. So they would have let themselves be guided to just having the arrays. So let's have the first part. I know they would draw 5s. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then they did say 19 wheels. So 16, 17, 18, 19. Then I would let them know that they must choose 2 different colors. So for this part, I'm going to choose blue and the color like a orange. So I would say, okay, orange is for bicycle. Or bicicleta. And blue for triciclo or tricycle. So I know majority of my students would say, oh, let's do 2, right? So we start off 2. Okay, we have 2 there. We have 2 there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and let's see, can I do it? We'll do it lightly. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's one remainder, so we can't do that, right? So now let's erase it. Now they would say, okay, let's try tricycles. Maybe your tricycles would come better in handy. So it's 3, 3, and 3. There you go. Then they're able to say, okay, red or orange was for bicycle. Let's count how many bicycles did we able to come out with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 bicycles. And how many tricycles? 1, 2, 3. 3 tricycles. So that is one way. I could picture my students doing this exact work in my classroom. Now the second way that I could think of the possible outcomes that my students might find is the more advanced learners, which would then just go ahead and start skip counting. So I know I would have one student, he would say, oh, I have bicycles and tricycles. Okay, let me divide it into 2 groups. This side bicycles, this side tricycles. Bicycles, you would skip count by 2 because there's only 2 wheels. So therefore he goes 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10, 12. Oh, but we can't just use tricycle. I mean, we can't just use bicycles, right? So then we skip count. So then from here, you do 12 plus 3, 15. 15 plus 3, 18. But Miss Carson saw 19 wheels. If I add another 3, that is 18 plus 3, that is 21. That is too much. So we can't do that. So then I know he would go back and say, oh, let's take away 1 bicycle. So we pick up from over here now. So we start 10 plus 3, 13. 13 plus 3, 16. 16 plus 3, 19. So now that is the final answer. So now we have to go back and say, okay, how many bicycles? So we took off 1. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bicycles. And 1, 2, 3. 3 tricycles. Right? So it is important that they show their work. So I did have them start off simple, like skip counting, which was fine. But then on this side, they must be able to show their equations that they use, the equation sentence. Now for the last part, for the last assumption that I could see going on in my class is some students are very advanced, so they were able to use some of the multiplication, or just like I said, the arrays. They were able to identify that with arrays, they're able to do a little bit of simple multiplication. So I had another student that did again, they divided it. He needed the visual more closer to him, so he did a visual himself with the bicycle and tricycle. Therefore, he did bicycle. So front and a back wheel, and then bicycle. And then number 2, tricycle. And that one has 2 in the back and 1 in the front. Right? So then he knows that, okay, if I want to, let's just say that he wanted to have 2 times 2, that's 4. 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 times 2 equals 16. Now, if we do 16 times 2, that's 32, right? So, no, he cannot do that. So maybe he already had a hunch. I know that the student was very, very smart. So he told me, Ms. Chavarria, how about if we just do 5 times 2? So that would be 10 wheels. How about 3 times 3? I know that 3 times 3 is 9. Then we go ahead and add 10 wheels plus 9 wheels equals 19 wheels altogether, which just means there's 5 bicycles and 3 tricycles. So again, it just depends on what level they are. I do believe that this one is where majority of students are when it comes to critical thinking, because even myself, I would let myself start off there first with them, and then eventually I would hope that they go into the skip counting by themselves, and then finally using their skills that they already know, they're able to say, oh, but I already know that 5 times 2 equals 10, while 3 times 3 equals 9. So if I just add those together, that means that I have 19 wheels. So it is just about like different leveling of thinkers inside the classroom, which just means that we have to be inviting for every single one of them. And just remember, be diverse, which what I try to do. I try to explain it in English and Spanish, and it allows my students to feel comfortable and begin exploring either by themselves, or they could start exploring with a partner or in a group. So that way they're able to feel way more confident in themselves. So thank you very much, Professor, and have a great day.